To make my mother's tamale pie, which has all the flavors of a tamale without a lot of work, you will need the following. 1 pound of a good quality ground beef, 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1 small can of sliced black olives, about 4 ounces of a green salsa, about 6 ounces of a Mexican-style blended cheese, taco seasoning, about 6 ounces of tomato sauce, 2 cups of chicken broth, 1 cup of cornmeal to which 1 teaspoon of salt has been added, garlic, half of a yellow pepper, half of a red pepper, 2 green onions, 1 small onion, cilantro, cornstarch, cumin, and salt and pepper. Doing a real rough chop on the peppers and the cilantro and the onions while I'm waiting for our oil to heat, and then we'll add our meat, and then after our meat starts to cook we'll add these vegetables. Ready, and now I'm adding the kind of crumbling up the ground beef. This is one time you don't want chunks of beef in your recipe. I'm going to stir it around just a little bit. Now it's time to add the seasoning. We'll start with the salt and pepper, then the cumin, then the taco seasoning. So here's our salt and pepper, cumin, and our taco seasoning. Taco seasoning can be as spicy as you like. We don't love things real spicy in our house, so I use a mild taco seasoning. And I'm just going to stir this all in to mix up the seasonings into the meat while it browns. And then it'll be time to add the vegetables. The meat looks just about perfect to me now. It's been cooking about 3 or 4 minutes. So now it's time to add the vegetables. We'll start with the onion, cilantro, minced garlic, and peppers. And I actually have a second bowl here to add as well. Stir them in. They smell so good. And we'll let these just kind of cook together for probably about 5 minutes. And then it'll be time to add the tomatoes, the tomato sauce, the salsa, and the olives. Our vegetables and meat have been cooking for about 5 minutes, and it's ready now to add the black olives. Just going to dump the whole can in. Stir it around. The next ingredient is that tablespoon of cornstarch. This is going to be your thickening agent. You're just going to sprinkle this over the whole mixture and then just sort of stir it around. Once I add the liquid, I'm going to cook the cornstarch out a little bit, and then once I add the liquid, it'll start to thicken the sauce. Okay, next I'm adding my green salsa. Again, stirring it around. Now, some roasted tomato sauce. I'm going to start with about 4 ounces. I'm going to add a little bit more. Probably about 6 ounces in total. And now the whole can of diced tomato, juice and all. And I can feel it starting to thicken from the cornstarch. So this is looking and feeling just the way we want it to look and feel. I'm adding about a tablespoon of olive oil to my boiling chicken broth. And now when it comes to the boil, which it has, it's time to start stirring in the cornmeal mixture. Gradually stirring it in. I like to use a whisk. It will lump up if you do it too fast. So you can see that it's thickening nicely. This needs to be stirred constantly until you're happy with the consistency. It needs to be on the thick side because it's going to spread over the top of the tamale pie. Nice and thick now, and I'm going to put about, I don't know, 3 ounces of cheese in here as I continue to stir and now take it off the heat. Our vegetables and meat mixture is ready to go into the Pyrex baking dish, which I'll then top with the cornmeal, and it'll be ready to go into the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. Transferred our meat and vegetables into a baking dish, and now it's time to add our beautiful cornmeal topping. This looks just delicious and it smells good too. The origin of tamales actually began in Mexico and Guatemala. It's said that it was actually the Aztecs and the Mayans who first made tamales because it was such a great portable food for the hunters who went out in the, to hunt for food. But it really wasn't popular in America until 1894 at the World's Columbia Expo, where tamales were introduced to the United States, and they were considered the most favorite food at the whole expo, and they've been a popular, especially in California, ever since. So you want to kind of come all the way up to the edge, because otherwise this will bubble over, and while it's perfectly fine if it bubbles over, you kind of want to keep all the good juices on the other side of the cornmeal, if you can. Tamales in Mexico are always used for feasts and festivals, and especially Christmas, and any Mexican family that I've ever known always had a tradition of making tamales at Christmas time as a big family project. Now I'm going to cover the whole top with the remaining cheese. Not a lot of cheese in this recipe, but just enough to give it a nice crusty top. So now our tamale pie is ready for the oven, and this is what we'll have for dinner tonight.